Dez Bryant is looking to return to the NFL in 2020. Every day there are more and more videos of him working out running routes on social media. Bryant has not appeared in an NFL game since 2017, as the Cowboys released him at the conclusion of that season. The former Pro Bowl wide receiver signed with the New Orleans Saints in 2018 but lasted just 2 practices before suffering an Achilles tear. Bryant, who played his entire career in Dallas, was cut by the Cowboys in the offseason in what was at the time considered a surprising move. Now there's some debate as to whether he'll ever actually suit up for another team again. He blew maybe his last opportunity by not taking the Ravens' offer, which was a 2-year deal. Bryant turned 30 years old this past year, meaning he was already on the older side for an NFL position player. Now he'll be attempting to return from one of the most brutal injuries an athlete can face. Torn Achilles injuries can often take a full year to recover from. Bryant was already having trouble finding a team before the injury, considering it took nearly 2 months of the season before a team took a shot on him. Assuming he's recovered, he'll have to convince a team that a 31-year-old receiver coming off a devastating injury on the backside of his career will have enough explosiveness to compete at the highest level. Bryant, in his 8 years in Dallas, caught 531 passes for 7,459 yards and 73 touchdowns. His best years were 2012 to 2014, when he was considered an elite receiver. After spending the 2019 season out of football, Dez Bryant is still hoping to continue his NFL career. He has plans to play in 2020 and is putting in full effort to do so. The Cowboys could potentially be interested in a reunion with Dez Bryant, as the team could be undergoing some significant changes. Receiver Amari Cooper, the team's top target, is set to become an unrestricted free agent in March, as well Randall Cobb as well. That's not to mention that quarterback Dak Prescott is also set to become a free agent. The Cowboys won 8-8 last season and missed the playoffs. They replaced head coach Jason Garrett with Mike McCarthy in January. Bryant's final 3 seasons in Dallas were a struggle, as he never caught 70 passes or hit the 900-yard mark in those years. Let's be real, when thinking about what it might take to sign Dez, it won't be that much, while there are equal chances that it could be league minimum to something around $5 million. The Cowboys will be getting Dez for the low. While he isn't what he once was, if he is fine to bounce back from the Achilles tear, his ability can still be game-changing. Thinking about the return of Dez on the Cowboys can make people exhilarated. Before the 2012 season, Dez has had some trouble throughout his career. He was most notably arrested on a domestic violence charge for hitting his biological mother. He was also seen as a hothead at one point in time.
But I know on that last one, they pushed this over. Man, we good on that, Tony. We the best in the NFL on that. We the best in the NFL. Hey, I'm telling you, when you look at it on film.
2014 seasons, he proved to be one of the best receivers in the league. He had at least 1,200 yards during each of those 3 years. The best year was in 2014, where he caught 88 passes for 1,320 yards and 16 touchdowns. Now let's circle back to how he ended out of the league. The Ravens were one of the first teams to show interest in Dez after he was cut. Dez must have been pretty confident that he can land a big contract after 3 seasons of subpar production, because he turned down a deal to prove himself with another big contract and his last chance on a team, other than a courtesy call when a team is low on wide receivers. The Ravens offered Dez a contract that was comparable to the one of Michael Crabtree, meaning the Ravens were offering a 3-year deal for roughly around $21 million, which also included a $7 million signing bonus and $11 million in total guaranteed money. Whatever the future holds for Dez, we can probably safely assume he'll be a Cowboy if anything, because it'll be unlikely for teams to go after him at this point in his career. Amari Cooper and the Dallas Cowboys have mutual interest in hammering out a long-term deal. It's going to come down to the money. If Dallas is willing to make Amari the second highest paid receiver in the NFL, it's likely a deal that can be made. In the story that just won't go away, former Cowboys Dez Bryant's been publicly asking for one last crack in the NFL for a while now. He's made it known that he preferred to rejoin the Dallas Cowboys, but he'd be willing to play elsewhere if that's where the opportunity arises. The Dallas Cowboys haven't exactly shut the door on a potential reunion. It could be because they just love being in the headlines, or it could be because they consider it a possible option under the right circumstances.